So if we talk about content sharing, then what does good content look like? Can you tell us what should we be sharing?
I
The
think,
million-dollar question for today.
yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing I would, in answer to that, I would get everyone to think about. We speak to lots of law firms, okay, and they've spent a lot of time and money and effort on producing things like knowledge vaults on big hero pieces of content that have cost a lot of money, a lot of time, and been quite tricky to produce. Time and time again, we're told that no one really ever sees them. You know, they don't see the light of day because they're stuck behind a gated area on the website. No one comes to the law firm's website. You're not retailers, so you don't get millions of people coming. So I suppose the sharing part's so important because it's sort of push marketing. You need to get these pieces out there. You need to push them out to the right people. Otherwise, they just sit there and no one actually reads them. So what does good content look like? You know, again, it needs to be timely. It needs to be relevant. We haven't really talked about channels yet, but again, a lot of the marketeers and BD folk that we speak to, they always say, look, we just need to get our lawyers using LinkedIn better or using social better. Again, you know, they need to have something to share. Otherwise, they're not going to use it. You know, they need information that's relevant, that's authentic, that's going to show them in a good light. So that lends itself to, if they're producing it themselves, which is another issue, then they'll share it. You know, they're proud of it, so they'll push it out there to the right people. Often, you know, a lawyer, professional service expert will put barriers up. You know, I'm too busy. My clients' work is the most important. So there's always issues with actually them producing content. So again, we're told it's, you know, external ghostwriters that are writing content for fee earners. Yeah, it needs to be authentic so people can read between the lines. I think now it needs to come from the lawyers, and again, you just need to break down those barriers, which we can come on to. But I think mixing up the formats also works. You're not going to get every fee earner maybe writing stuff. So podcasts, we've seen the rise of the podcast. It's just an audio file. Again, once you break down that barrier, Barbara, you could ask, you know, your fee earners at Altamimi 3 questions around employment law. I'm sure they would answer it very, very happily. And then you've got yourself an audio file that we're recording now on Zoom. It's very easy to do, but ultimately it's the clients that benefit from that. Events, you know, if all the events sphere has changed, obviously, because we haven't been able to go to physical events, but everyone's been doing webinars, everyone's been doing online events. Always add value at events. You know, not all your clients have been to the same event, so it's always getting the lawyers to think about, okay, if I'm speaking at an event, you've got a nice bit of content there to share, and it just needs to be summarized and then pushed out to people that didn't make it. Very, very simple.